Hey, welcome everybody to lesson one of Reasons to Believe in the Hyatt Institute. Now, I'm also using this as a series for the Eddie Hyatt podcast, so it's going to do double duty. But for this is actually a course that is based on my book, Why I Believe in God. Now, you could describe this book as an apologetic. Now, that is a word, I guess you could say scholarly theological word, and it doesn't mean to apologize. It means to reason, and it comes from First Peter, I believe it's chapter 2, verse 15, and let me just turn over to that because I want to make sure that I give you the precise exact reference. But I'm quite sure that is First Peter chapter 2, verse 15, where he says, "But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and always be ready to give a defense to everyone who asks you a reason for the hope that is in you." Always be ready to give a defense when anyone asks you a reason for the hope that is in you. Hey, why do you believe you're going to heaven someday? Why do you believe there is a God? Peter said, always be ready to give a defense. Now, the Greek word Peter wrote in Greek is apologia. Apologia. And the word, it means to give a rational answer, to give a logical and rational answer for why you believe like you do. So, this course, in a sense, is an apologetic, and we have other apologetic courses that are being taught by Dr. Suzanne Vincent, who is a creationist scientist and taught in this area at Oral Roberts University. So this is an apologetic, and this is lesson one. I'm calling it Reasons to Believe. Now, it's based on this book, and I just published it a few days ago. It's not a large book, 84 pages, 7 chapters, and this lesson will either be, we'll see how it pans out, or this course will either be 5 lessons or it will be 10 lessons. We try to, in the Hyatt Institute, we try to keep them to either 5 lessons or 10 lessons. But let me just mention the chapter titles. Chapter one, chapter one's going to be our lesson today, the God of creation. And then chapter two, the God of the Bible, the promised Messiah of God. Chapter four, no mere man, talking about the deity of Jesus. Number five, validated by the resurrection. 6, experiencing God. So God wants us not only to have a cognitive information about him, he has called us to know him in a very real, dynamic, personal manner. So, chapter 6, experiencing God, and chapter 7, from religion to relationship. So, today our lesson is the God of creation. Let me read you a couple of passages. And I just feel like we should pray and say, Lord, I ask you to open our eyes, give us wisdom, give us understanding into your ways, into your creation, and let us see the revelation that is there, that you say is there for us to see in your creation. For example, Psalm 19 says, the heavens declare the glory of God. Do you hear that? The heavens declare the glory of God. God's creation declares his glory. And the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. Wow. There is a revelation of God to all of humanity through his creation. That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, Romans, that's the Old Testament. Now, Romans talks about this revelation. Paul said in Romans 1:20, he says, for since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. I got to read that again, folks. Do you hear what Paul is saying? He's saying that there is a revelation of the attributes of God in creation. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen. How are they clearly seen? Being understood by the things that are being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. And what Paul is saying is, if people have an open heart and mind, they can know that there is a supreme being, a God. And I believe with all of my heart, this is not part of this lesson, but I've got to take a little side issue here. That if people, if they're teachable, if their hearts are open, if they're hungering to know God, and they accept the revelation of God that is in creation. Now, the revelation does not tell us who he is. It does not give us details about his person, his character, and who he is and what he has done for mankind. It's a very general revelation. But if they are hungry and they embrace that revelation and what they know, God will find a way to get further revelation to them. Wow. And I've seen this happen. I know of experiences in other parts of the world where this has happened. But we're going to look at the creation today. Thank you, Lord, for showing us who you are, showing us your power and even your love in your creation. Now, we'll just start with talking about the world in which we live that we are so very aware of. I am here in North Texas, Grapevine, Texas, about just about a mile from the entrance to the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. And just a few days ago, I walked out of our apartment and out in the sunshine. It was a cool but a pleasant day, and all the sun felt so good. I mean, I just even felt my soul lifted, just feeling the rays of the warm sun shining down. And as I was basking in the warmth of the sun, I was thinking about how that the sun is a star. And you know, astronomers tell us that there are trillions and trillions of stars in our universe. But I was thinking how our sun is a star, but this particular star, it so happens that it is the perfect size, it's the perfect composition, it's the perfect distance from our Earth, from our planet Earth, and it's burning at the perfect temperature for there to be life on Earth. The core of the sun, they tell us, is around 29 million degrees, but but the surface temperature is 10,000 degrees. And according to astronomers and cosmologists, if that surface temperature of the sun that is perfect for life on Earth, 10,000 degrees, if it varied by as much as 50 degrees over a 1 year period, life would be destroyed. Life could no longer exist on Earth. So we have the perfect star, the perfect age, the perfect size, the perfect composition, burning at the perfect temperature, at the perfect distance from Earth, for there to be life on Earth. Incredible. Now, the thing also, think about the Earth for a moment. Our Earth is also the perfect size, because if its size varied one way or the other, life could not exist, because our very delicate atmosphere would be destroyed, would be dissolved. And that atmosphere is also perfectly designed for life on Earth. Our atmosphere and the size of the Earth sustains and holds our perfect atmosphere in place. You see, our atmosphere is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% of various other elements. But it is the perfect mix for life on Earth. But now, what is what is even more amazing, and let me just turn over to the book. This is the textbook for the course, Why I Believe in God. I am the author, Why I Believe in God, and the subtitle, Overwhelming Evidence That Is Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. Now, I want to read this because I want to get this accurate, because this is so amazing about Earth's atmosphere. And our atmosphere is only sustained because the Earth is the perfect size. And if the Earth's size varied just a little bit, life could not exist. Now, uh, what is even more amazing about our atmosphere is that these elements, 7-8% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 1% of various other elements, are not chemically combined, but are continually being mixed by the tidal effect of the moon upon the atmosphere. Now, this means that we have a moon that is the perfect size and positioned at the perfect distance from Earth. And it is the moon, the gravitational force of the moon. The moon causes the tides. And it is the gravitational force of the moon on the tides that causes it to continually mix this perfect atmosphere of nitrogen, oxygen, and other elements that makes it possible for us to live and breathe on this earth. Oh, my friends, it's incredible the precise design of our solar system, of our earth, of our sun. Such incredible, precise precision, order, and design. Now, think about this. There is also a very complex ozone layer in the upper echelons of our atmosphere. Now, we heard a lot about this. I think it was back in maybe, I don't know, back in the 80s, maybe. There was concern that there had developed a hole in the ozone layer. I think they said over the North Pole, and they claimed it was happening by aerosol sprays. And they started banning aerosol cans and started making pump sprays. Well, that has kind of gone by the wayside because apparently they realize, hey, this is not true. The ozone layer is not dissolving, and aerosol cans has nothing to do with any hole that was spotted over the North Pole. So that's been many years ago, and that's all gone by the wayside. But this ozone layer, life could not exist without it. What does it do? It shrouds the Earth, and and it acts as a screen. It screens out 8 deadly long rays of the sun. 8 deadly long rays that would destroy life on Earth. This ozone layer around the Earth, it just so happens to be there, and it filters out and it screens out those deadly rays. But then there are shorter rays of the sun which are necessary for life. Gives us which vitamin is vitamin D. The sun gives vitamin D, but also the warmth. There is life and nourishment in the sun, and and the ozone layer, it allows those rays of the sun necessary for life. It allows those to come through. What intricate design of this ozone layer up in the upper part of our atmosphere. It is absolutely amazing. Now listen to this. Those 8 deadly rays that it screens out. Now it allows just a tiny limited amount of these rays to come through, just enough to kill the green algae, which otherwise would grow to fill all the lakes, rivers, and oceans of the world and destroy all of human life. Incredible. Wow. Folks, what an incredible God. What an incredible creator. God that we serve. It's so obvious. The grand design that we see, it's so obvious there is a great designer who put this all together. Now think about Earth's magnetic field. starting from the core of the earth and coming out, there is a magnetic field also that surrounds the earth. And it protects the earth from the solar flares that flare out from the sun. And these solar winds, they blow out of the sun at speeds up to 500 miles per second and at blazing hot temperatures, and would scorch and destroy the earth except for this magnetic field. Now, here's what happens. It acts as a protective canopy around the earth. And when these solar winds strike Earth's magnetic field, their billions of solar electrons are ripped into bits by this magnetic field around the earth. And when that happens, these deadly solar winds, they are changed into warm, harmless breezes. Wow, what an incredible God we serve. I believe that Isaiah spoke of this. In Isaiah, let's see, I have it here in the book, chapter 40, verse 22. It says, He, that is God, stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads it forth and spreads them out like a tent to live in, spreads them out. And see, we have our atmosphere with the oxygen, the nitrogen, and those elements. Then we have the ozone layer. Then we have the magnetic field. And listen to what he says. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in. Well, what an incredible God we serve. Now, is it possible that all this just happened by chance? My friends, I'm just scratching the surface here today. But that all of this could happen, all of this minute detail could happen, and there's so much more. Again, I've just scratched the surface. I'll mention some others in a moment. But that would be like driving through the Mojave Desert and seeing a 747 jet plane sitting out in the Mojave Desert. And you stop and ask somebody, how did that get there? And they say, oh, that just, over millions of years, it just happened. You wouldn't believe that because there's too much design. Somebody made that and put it there. And the more we learn about the complex design of our world, of our solar system, and of the entire universe, more and more, even scientists and astronomers are starting to realize, boy, there's somebody out there that created all of this. For example, an astrophysicist by the name of George Greenstein, he wrote, I don't even know if he's a Christian, but he's an astrophysicist studying the cosmos, the universe, and seeing the incredible complex design. And he says, as we survey all the evidence, the thought instantly arises that some supernatural agency, or rather, and he capitalizes agency, must be involved. Is it possible that suddenly, without intending to, we have stumbled upon scientific proof of the existence of a supreme being? Was it God who stepped in and providentially crafted the cosmos for our benefit? Wow, we believe he did. And talking about the design of the universe and the solar system, even the other planets, astronomers are finding, have been positioned and created size-wise and everything for sustaining life on Earth. For example, Jupiter. It has been found that Jupiter is the perfect size to protect Earth from asteroids, from comets, comet debris, and space debris. Because it is positioned in the right place, it's the right size, so that its huge gravitational force, many of these things in space that would hit the Earth, they are drawn and they hit Jupiter, or because of its huge gravitational force, it deflects them out of the universe. And one scientist, astronomer, made this amazing statement. Let me just turn over and read this. It's an amazing statement what he said about Jupiter. He said, if it was not for Jupiter being positioned exactly where it is, we wouldn't be around to study the origins of our solar system. He said we would be struck by 1,000 times more space debris than we are. Now, sometimes they're what we call them what do we call the little things, the shooting stars that come through, and sometimes a meteorites, they come through and hit the earth. I haven't heard of any that has caused any loss of life, because normally they get burned up in our atmosphere. And the larger ones that would, Jupiter attracts them and they strike Jupiter, or they get deflected out of the solar system by Jupiter's great gravitational pull. And so this scientist, um, I'm reading on page 13, who had studied this, George Wetherill, he said, if it wasn't for Jupiter being a position exactly where it is, we wouldn't be around to study the origins of our solar system. Folks, the evidence is piling up that there is a God out there, and more than ever before. Oh, let me read something from another astrophysicist, uh, Hugh Ross. And my understanding is he became a Christian because of the evidence he saw in creation. And he's talking about that he says the entire universe, the trillions of stars and galaxies throughout the universe, has the whole universe has been uh, intimately designed and ordered to sustain life on Earth. Now, let me just turn over. Oh, he says, let me just read what this Dr. Hugh Ross, astrophysicist, he says that not just our solar system, but the entire universe is fine tuned to sustain life on Earth. He points out how the incredible mass density of the universe determines how efficiently nuclear fusion operates everywhere in the cosmos. And this nuclear fusion is necessary for life to exist on Earth. He says, what this means is that the approximately 100 billion trillion stars we observe in the universe, no more and no less, are needed for life to be possible on Earth. Now, you see what these modern astrophysicists and astronomers are learning? They're actually coming back to the conclusion of what some of the early astronomers, like Galileo, thought. They thought that the Earth was the center of the universe. Now, we have found that physically the Earth is not the center of the universe. But these modern cosmologists, what they're finding is, yeah, it really is the center of the universe, not physically, not materially, but they're finding that the whole universe is ordered to sustain life here on earth. And so, oh, how true it was when the psalmist said, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. So let me leave you with two things that, in theological terms, this is called general revelation or natural revelation. Two things we learn from general revelation or natural revelation about God. Because remember, Paul said that his attributes are revealed, his invisible attributes are revealed, being understood by the things that are made. First of all, we see a revelation of his omnipotent, majestic, omnipotent power. The more we see of the vastness of our universe, it boggles the human mind. It's more than we can comprehend. And it speaks of the greatness, the majesty, and omnipotent power of God. But then we see how things are so fine tuned for life on earth. It reveals the love of God, that he has so shaped and ordered the entire universe to sustain life here on earth. This is the God of creation. Now, this is called, in theological terms, general revelation. But to know our Creator more personally and understand his character more intimately, we need special revelation. And so, in our succeeding lessons, we're going to look at special revelation, starting with the Bible, and then God's ultimate revelation to humanity in the person of Jesus of Nazareth. Hey, I'm Eddie Hyatt. This is the Eddie Hyatt podcast. It's also lesson 1 in the Hyatt Institute. Lesson 1 for reasons to believe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. God bless you.